Welcome back. Quick turnaround again for you. I know you're no stranger to doing that, but was it important to you to kind of keep the momentum going?
Definitely. I think this time last year I had like 5 fights already. No, but I definitely wanted to stay active. And this time I actually had some time. I think both of us had about 5 weeks to prepare for this. So I like that. That's right on the threshold of being a too long fight camp for me, where I get like just overly nervous and I've been thinking about one person for too long as opposed to just like training to get better. So it was nice. I had just the amount of time to prepare for her specifically without like killing myself mentally.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you figured out kind of like what's ideal for you, because it feels like you've done like every circumstance possible, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so is this kind of like the direction you'd like to go? It's like, hey, don't give me a fight 12 weeks out, but also don't give me it 3 days out either?
Yeah, like I always joke with my manager, like, hey, just don't tell me I'm fighting. Like, book the fight. Like, I'll say yes, but just don't tell me until like 2 weeks before. But I think I like having a little bit of time to prepare, especially for someone as good as Ribas. But at the same time, when I have those really long fight camps, I just tend to stress out a little bit too much. I tend to focus too much on like 1 or 2 things as opposed to like rounding out my entire MMA game. So I think this is the best way, is just have like maybe a month or so to like really prepare for one person, but being active outside of that. Like I'm one of those fighters who train 24/7, or not 24/7, but I train all year round. So I'm always trying to get better, always trying to work on the things that I kind of messed up with my previous fights, and yeah, it's been working out for me so far.
You talked about how good Amanda is. I mean, you saw what happened in her last fight. Obviously, she had a setback there. I mean, how do you look at her as an opponent? I mean, do you look at her as like a specialist, or did you learn anything from that last fight? Because it seems like a style that you could take advantage of as well.
For sure. I think her striking was a little overrated after the Mackenzie Dern fight. Like, she pretty much pieced her up like a boxing bag. So I think, if anything, Marina exposed that she isn't as good of a striker as she is a grappler, as she is as a judoka. And that's definitely the place where I win the fight, I feel like, is on the feet, keeping her rushing in for takedowns, avoiding the takedowns, or being able to get up as fast as possible and then keep it on the feet where she's going to be uncomfortable and where she might even start to get desperate. So yeah, it was a good game plan for Marina. She kind of put out the blueprint there, and I think anyone who knows how to strike everywhere, strike moving forward, backward, sideways, I think they're going to give Ribas a lot of trouble going forward.
I think that's great analysis, and it seems to make sense. I wonder, we hear a lot of fighters like, well, but I don't mind going to the ground with her. I'm just as good. I mean, do you think that's like just fighters talking or do you think they really believe that? Like, it would probably be in your best interest to stay on the feet, right?
We all have a lot of ego, you know. Like I've been working a lot with Justin Flores, and he's like an amazing judo coach. And I'm like, you know, like maybe I could take her down. He's like, no, this is the game. Calm down. You're not there yet. But I definitely, you know, when you have success in the gym, you feel like you can take on these people, even if they're specialists. That's why so many people go to the ground with Mackenzie Dern, even though she keeps subbing them, you know, like, so we all have egos, and I wouldn't be surprised if I did go for a takedown or try to grapple with her a little bit. But the smart game plan is to keep it on the feet and just piece her up and, you know, land more punches, try to stop her in that way.
Was there any talk behind the scenes of maybe turning this into 5 rounds and taking the main event? I mean, as that whole thing was playing out?
No, I didn't get any calls. They're like, not again. Nope. Yeah, so I think it's pretty obvious Michelle is the reason I got the main event last time. But it's all good. I think I like knowing exactly when I'm going to fight. I like that I'm still on the main for now. I'm still on the main card. So that's cool. And I feel like this if anything, gives me more of a reason to make a statement with this fight. Just knowing that someone who I went to a close decision with, someone who a lot of people said the fight could have gone either way, they're getting the main event and I'm not. So yeah, it's a bit of a reminder, like, hey, you got to put it all out there. You can't play it safe. You can't coast. You can't avoid taking risks. You gotta, high risk equals high reward. So you have to be a little tenacious in there.
Nice. And last thing for me, I mean, you talked about you go out there and make a statement. We talked about how when you had your losses, it still felt like your profile elevated during that time. But here, a couple big wins in a row would be big. So what's the plan for you? I mean, do you have a path carved out as far as people you want to face, how making your way up rankings? What's the plan after this?
Yeah, man. I mean, I got my list of rematches. If anything, having a bunch of losses on your record makes you want to fight them again, especially when you feel like you've improved so much. A lot of those girls are in the top 5, so I'd love to fight them. I'd love to, just get on the way to a title fight. And I feel like if those last 2 losses had gone my way, I'd definitely be somebody that they're talking about. Like same with Zhao Nanyan. She doesn't look extremely impressive in her wins, but she's on a huge win streak, so you can't deny her. So I feel like a couple good wins. I felt like the Yoder win was good, even though I messed up. I didn't get the finish. I could have in that fight, but a few more adjustments I have to make. And with a big win over Ribas, it'll definitely give me the options of fighting higher ranked girls. And yeah, I'm excited about that.
You mentioned ego a while ago. There was a video that came out of an experience you enjoyed in Abu Dhabi with Joshua Fabia.
Oh, no. So you keep getting me in trouble, man. You need to stop asking those heated questions.
But they're the best ones.
I love Monster. Please don't misinterpret my last interview.
I didn't mean to get you in trouble. I apologize.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was that experience like, if you can even remember it, just having a guy kind of berate you guys?
Well, it was my first time sitting in on fighter meetings, so I really didn't feel like I should say anything. But at that point, I think I had heard Fabia talk about himself so much and the criticism that he was getting that I had to say something. And, it's like I watched Diego's long interview with Anthony Smith last night, and he makes a lot of points that I think a lot of fighters agree with, but then he goes on his tangents, his conspiracy theory tangents as well. So it's kind of hard to not feel for Diego and not understand his point of view. Everyone's point of view comes from whatever circumstances and experiences they have, and to have your gym feel like your gym isn't backing you compared to your other teammates, to feel like the UFC isn't backing you compared to other people. I feel for him. I think it was good that he did that interview because it gives more perspective, and as opposed to just saying, oh, he's getting taken advantage of. But this Fabia guy is the only one in his corner, so of course he's gonna defend him. So I understand, but yeah, it was pretty crazy. I think the way he just said, let's stop the shit talk, immediately put everyone on guard. And I just wish he talked more about Diego feeling upset about the whole the commentary thing and everything. I wish he talked more about that than the shit talk that his school was getting online.
Do you think, I think Anthony said this in that interview, which if anyone's listening, I would say go watch it.
Yeah.
Joshua might have had a point in there, but his delivery of that point just means he's ruining his own stance, right? By delivering it to you guys in the way he did, he's just basically saying nothing at that point because his energy is overwhelming the message.
Yeah, and maybe that's the type of person who will confront people about something when Diego is too, reserved to say it. But I thought it was interesting that Diego didn't sound like it was like the most lucid interview like he's had in years. Like he sounds like he has all his shit together, and then every now and then he'll just be like, "Oh, Instagram," and you're like, "What?" But it was a good interview, and I think he made a lot of valid points that maybe that video of the backstage like commentary berating, like he made points that video didn't really make, but maybe those were the steps that he needed to get his view out there. Like he needed people to talk so much shit that he finally like came out and expressed himself. But it's a weird one. Like it's really weird.
Sorry for getting you in trouble.
Never answering questions again.